Kenya last year witnessed a slowed growth in the tourism sector, recording tourist arrivals of 1.4 million owing to the prolonged electioneering period. The sector is however projected a 20% rise in tourist arrivals to 1.8 million arrivals this year, buoyed by among others the upcoming Kenya Tourism Festival, slated for October. Among others, an incentivized investment code for investors will be launched, as well as the first ever bids festival, which is expected to empower women making bids in rural areas.
We as government, we are going to develop a clear investment code. We will launch it during AHIF, and we will come with incentive that will be conducive for people to take advantage of the country's stability, both financial, political, and be able to put their money here and make profits. To empower women in the rural areas, particularly in areas which are hosting wildlife. And that's why the beads that are being sold by the Maasai women should be now developed and product designs to the international standard.
Last Friday, Balala set up a task force on consumptive utilization of wildlife that paves the way for Kenyans to consume game meat. He is, however, warning that this has not opened the door for hunting of wildlife in the country, but will instead first look into the pros and cons of such a move.
So mine is to establish a task force to look at the pros and cons and advise me as a minister the way forward. Consumptive utilization of wildlife does not mean hunting or sport hunting. Our agenda in Kenya is very clear, and we are respected in conservation. What we are doing is that we want communities to benefit, we want the country to benefit and grow the GDP because of wildlife, because just to keep wildlife for a few people to come and see them is not enough. People need to benefit, and particularly conservancies, communities, as well as the country needs to benefit from wildlife. It does not mean we have to go for hunting.
The Tourism Ministry is currently implementing the task force report on mice that recommend the establishment of a National Convention Bureau tasked with bidding for events and conferences.
The bureau that is going to bid for international events to come to Nairobi or Kenya, so that we can fill all the 10,000 beds that have been developed in Nairobi and even more beyond Nairobi.
Kenya is targeting to increase its bed capacity up to 10,000 by the year 2022 and has hired a consultant to implement the tourism digital marketing strategy. Nicholas Nduati, News Hour Business.